38. A week of mirrors. Our week of firsts. The first night together, sleeping next to her, being held by her, my head on her chest, hearing her heartbeat, feeling safe. The first meal we shared together, finding my way around her kitchen, seeing familiar items, feeling like this is home, no strangeness, no unease. Our shared peculiarities extended to everyday delights. Evening main meals were our preference. We shared a fondness for yellow packaged crispy chips. And condensed milk? No problem. We could polish off a tin with ease. The first glimpses of our physical resemblance. In her eyes, I saw a reflection of myself. The same green-brown colour sparkled back at me. Our palms were twins, with identical lines and wrinkles. And our nail beds shared a peculiar trait, fragile skin that tended to tear easily. Our inaugural shopping outing revealed delightful coincidences. Driving habits, it turned out, were amongst our shared quirks. We both left our parked cars in reverse in the garage. We preferred the same fuel station brand. Additionally, we discovered mutual sensitivities. Car sickness affected us equally. Reading during car rides was impossible. We also discovered we shared some uncomfortable health quirks. Constipation and bloatedness were familiar complaints. But our dry skin struggles really stood out. I confessed my embarrassing secret. My skin's been so dry, it sheds flakes when I undress. Her reaction was pure shock and delight. You too! Our shared sense of humour ran deep, forming a profound connection. We healed each other in ways we never thought possible. Together, we fell into a natural rhythm. Our week together had a childlike innocence, free from pretenses. Sheltered from the outside world, we created our own space. No one else mattered. It was just us two. We learned, laughed, and discovered each other. Seeing our reflections in each other's eyes, we mirrored souls. Uncovering our shared heritage, a new bond formed. There were still so many unanswered questions. The mystery ran deep. We knew nothing about our ancestors. I still knew very little about my father. The name Hans Strydom was a common one, and to complicate matters, it could also be spelled Strijdom. She never heard from him again after going to the home for unwed mothers. Yet somehow it was okay. I had come to terms with not knowing my father. Her story left me perplexed, but I didn't press for details. It hinted at a painful truth, possibly even rape, which I hesitated to consider. I understood the stigma surrounding unwed mothers back then. The shame and fear of judgment might have kept her from sharing the full story. She may have worried that I'd view her as promiscuous, a label she'd carried in secret. In that moment, none of it mattered. But beneath the surface, my life remained unresolved. Soon, I would board the plane to return to Oudtshoorn, and reality would set in. Gurik and Esther Marie had been thrilled about my reunion with Mom Doreen. Yet, they now seemed distant, preoccupied with their own struggles. I felt disconnected, unable to bridge the gap. All too soon, the week had passed. The airport goodbye hug was intense. Albie's 2 sons accompanied us, their faces aglow with quiet awe at the reunion. They captured a telling moment on video. Mom Doreen and I walking ahead, our gaits mirroring each other perfectly. Their amused whisper to Albie, "Hokey pokey shit, Mom," made me giggle. Mom Doreen's hug was desperate, tears streaming down her face. "I promise, this is just goodbye, not farewell," I reassured her. The prospect of her visiting me in Oudtshoorn soon brought comfort. As I held her close, Ina Alice whispered, "We're not losing her again."